So Kilimanjaro, it's been on the list for some time, and partially because it's one of the big mountains, but it doesn't have a lot of the mountaineering technical side. I mean, I have done technical climbing and I've done rock climbing, but it wasn't Everest or that type of commitment that you're going to have to be there for months. So Kilimanjaro just has that more accessible way. They call it a walk-up, but I didn't really think it was a walk-up. It was harder than a walk-up. First 4 days, you start actually at a rainforest, and then the route I took, you're kind of always going around the mountain. So the day before, when I saw the camp, you look up, and I asked my guide, I said, "We're not going on that wall, are we?" And he said, "Yep, that's where we're going." I said, "Well, where's the trail?" I'm afraid of heights, so it adds this layer of anxiety on there. So there's this place where you call it the Kissing Rock, because you are kind of just moving across, and there's very little ledge there. First summit is when you hit the rim. It's over 19,000 feet. You go through this time period. So the sun was just coming up. So I started summit day at midnight, and most of those hours it was a clear night, watching the moon, on one side kind of go over, and that was my guide to, looking how long am I getting closer? Am I getting there? Because it was very cold. It was about 10 below zero, and you couldn't stop at all because of the cold. And then you had this very loose scree, and it's like quicksand, and you're just, every step you take is your boots going into this, just very loose gravel, and you're pulling yourself up. And so you get to this first rim, and that's when the emotion hits. You just have this kind of just outburst of emotion that you've made it to this place, but then you have 220 meters to go, and it's still an hour. And that's the kind of remarkable thing, is it's only 3 miles from summit camp to the summit, but it's a 4,000 foot elevation change. You get finally to summit, and then you take a picture. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's like, okay. And then you go down. They don't let you stay up there very long because you're at such high altitude. So essentially, I had a guide, and then I had another guide take each of my arms, and we ran down the mountain, and in this kind of very loose scree. And I would either be sliding or running, and then I would be yelling, "Rock, there's a rock ahead," and then I'd be jumping over rocks. And at that point in time, I had frostbite on my toes and a little bit on my fingertips, and so the pain of my toes was starting to kick in because they were thawing out. So by the time I get to summit, I still have 8 miles to go that day down to the next camp, and another 8 miles the following day. And last day, kind of hiking out, I couldn't even wear my hiking boots, and I had Teva sandals and socks, and it was very muddy, and the vertical grades and that you go both up and down were very steep. So those were the painful days. It was great. It reminded me, it's my first real vacation in forever. I mean, a really long time. This was just a chance to kind of be in nature, see different landscapes, but be quiet and have that both physical pushing my physical limits, but also that kind of space to think and reflect and digest. I mean, being here for a year and the role and everything that being a president of such a great university entails and means, I was able to kind of process that and think about the future. So that really just then energized me and invigorated me.